June 2020 planetary transits for Pisces and Pisces rising. This is an equal house chart set up for 0 degrees Pisces on the ascendant, Eastern Daylight Time, New York. We begin June 1st, 2020 with 2 retrograde planets in Capricorn in the 11th house sector. Jupiter at 26 degrees conjunct Pluto at 24 degrees of Capricorn. The Sun is placed in the 4th house at 11 degrees of Gemini with the planet Venus at 15 degrees of Gemini retrograde. The planet Mercury is at 4 degrees of Cancer in the 5th house. In the 12th house, we have the planet Saturn at 1 degree of Aquarius retrograde. Mars is moving through the 1st house at 12 degrees of Pisces with Neptune at 20 degrees Pisces. The Moon is in Libra at 8 degrees in the 8th house sector, and Uranus is in the 3rd house at 8 degrees of Taurus. Overview. June of 2020 brings 3 major events. The second hit at exactitude of the magnificent Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, an annular solar eclipse, and the entrance of Mars in Aries for a 6-month-long transit. Let's look at each one and determine the life areas that will be impacted. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction will make its second hit at exactitude in your 11th house sector at 24 degrees Capricorn, 6 minutes retrograde. Planets in retrograde motion bring a review and readjustment. In the 11th house, friendships, group associations, and affiliations will be redetermined. Additionally, due to the positive, expansive nature of this conjunction, whatever you require to move forward will be available. This conjunction is characterized by lucky fated events, but there are pitfalls ahead over the next 6 months due to Mars in high tension. Please refer to my videos on the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction 2020 for Pisces and Pisces rising, uploaded in December 2019, as well as my video on the 6-month transit of Mars in Aries for Pisces and Pisces rising. The second and third events of importance occurring in June 2020 is the annular solar eclipse of June 21st at 0 degrees Cancer, 21 minutes, happening in your 5th house of creativity, recreational pursuits, and relationships with loved ones. This is being activated by Mars entering Aries on June 27th. On June 27th, 28th, and 29th, as Mars ignites the eclipse point in your 5th house, there could be a crisis or just intense activity and change pertaining to this life area. Eclipse activations bring emphasis and focus to the life area it impacts. Of course, if you know your exact time of birth and have your astrological chart, you'll also have greater accuracy of interpretation. On June 2nd, Venus square Mars between houses 4 and 1 could stir up friction on the home front or with family members, especially if you try to impose your will on others instead of patiently going with the flow. Mars in high tension is exceedingly egocentric. In conflict with Venus, diplomacy may be lacking. Be conscious of your state of mind and make adjustments. The planet Venus conjuncts the Sun on June 3rd in your 4th house, a very sociable and affectionate energy. Use it to heal any relationships that have recently become strained. June 5th brings the full moon, 3:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 15 degrees of Sagittarius in opposition to the Sun at 15 degrees of Gemini, spanning houses 10 and 4, highlighting professional responsibilities versus the responsibilities of home and family. The planet Mars at 15 degrees of Pisces is making a high-tension square, 90-degree aspect to this full moon. This is a highly frictional and impatient full moon. Be careful of what you say and how you say it at this time to avoid a major conflict with others. If you're on the road today, drive defensively, especially if you're irritated or frustrated. On June 6th, under Sun square Mars between houses 4 and 1, intense ego conflicts with others could erupt. This is an aspect of high energy and aggression, with a tendency to force circumstances with others who will then try to stop you because they feel threatened. Conversely, you may have to contend with someone overstepping your boundaries. Instead of ego conflicts, use this energy to get a great deal of work done. On June 11th, Sun square Neptune between houses 4 and 1 is an aspect of deception resulting in confusion. The information you receive on the mental plane may be at odds with what your gut feelings are telling you about a situation. On another level, do not permit any news you receive to activate your inherent fears. Your imagination may be in overdrive. June 13th brings Mars conjunct Neptune in the first house, an energy of secret affairs and behind-the-scenes activities. Deceptive actions, however, are not likely to succeed at this time. On another level, the desire to escape the mundane may be strong. Do so in creative ways instead of indulgence in drugs or alcohol. On June 18th, the planet Mercury turns retrograde at 14 degrees of Cancer in the 5th house sector. Also on June 18th, Mars sextile Pluto between houses 1 and 11 is a positive vibration under which to communicate with friends or the group you work with and suggest changes or reforms to improve your relationships. The Sun enters Cancer on June 20th, ushering in the summer solstice and moving into your 5th house. Under Mars sextile Jupiter, also on June 20th, between houses 1 and 11, take a break with friends or relatives and have some fun and recreation. June 21st brings the new moon, 2:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 0 degrees of Cancer, 21 minutes in the 5th house, highlighting creative or recreational pursuits and love unions over the month ahead. Use this energy for a fresh start in these relationships. This new moon is an annular solar eclipse that will be activated by Mars on June 27th, 28th, and 29th, emphasizing the concerns of this life area. The planet Neptune turns retrograde on June 23rd at 20 degrees of Pisces in the 1st house. Venus turns direct motion on June 25th at 5 degrees of Gemini in the 4th house sector. The planet Mars enters Aries on June 27th and moves into the 2nd house. Mars sextile Saturn on June 28th between houses 2 and 12 favors working alone and getting through a great deal of financial planning for the future. June 30th brings the second hit at exactitude of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction at 24 degrees Capricorn, 6 minutes retrograde in your 11th house sector. Also on June 30th, we have Mercury sextile Uranus between houses 5 and 3 and Mercury conjunct the Sun in the 5th house. Both aspects tell the story of intense mental activity and harmonious communication concerning friendships, loved ones, and recreational pursuits. Rethink the creative pursuits you might be engaged in along the lines of reorganizing and restructuring to fit current needs as well as changing conditions. An excellent time for discussing and creating long-range plans such as new innovative advertising campaigns for your business.